Hello and good evening to everyone tuning in. This is Randall Rush, brought to you live from chilly Las Vegas, Nevada, through the wonderful technology of internet radio. You're listening to Mafia 258 Lip Gloss and Mics with Kelly Kell and Alexa Gray. This is the Kings and Queens of Porn. So in the adult industry and community, there's been a big buzz about Spunk Lube. Haven't heard of it? Well, that's okay, because I'm here to tell you a little bit about it and my personal experiences. First off, there are 4 options to cater for specific needs and also personal preference. There's Spunk Hybrid Lube, a water and silicone-based lube that mimics the body's natural lubrication. It actually looks and feels like cum. This stuff is amazing. Spunk Pure Silicone Lube, non-drying during use. This stuff goes and will outlast you. Never sticky or tacky and cleans up easily because it doesn't contain additives or preservatives. Great for sensitive skin and most silicone toys. Plus it has an infinite shelf life. Spunk Natural Lube. This one I haven't played with much, but like the name, it's a unique blend of edible virgin coconut oil and organic avocado oil, free of silicone, glycerin, and parabens, as well as other ingredients. Totally chemical-free and feels great on your skin. An oil-based product it is as well. Spunk Pink. Non-staining water-based, glycerin-free silicone that's actually pink. Spunk Lube Pink is a latex-friendly, toy-safe, and cleans up very easily product. Spunk Lube Pink is a special hybrid formula that's the perfect mix of water and silicone. I've used this on set and in my personal life and have never had any unsatisfied results. You can find me on Twitter at Randall_Rush XXX and on Instagram at official_Randall Rush XXO. And don't forget to get your very own Spunk Lube products you can order at spunklube.com. And with this ad, use promo code KellyKell and save 10.
All right, y'all. Good evening.
Don't fuck it up.
Right.
No, it's good.
Good evening, y'all. We're here with
What are we talking about? Kel and I are so improv. We fuck it up all the time, and we still sound good. It's all good.
Yeah, it's all good. Like, we got love on this show. It's all good. So, good evening, everybody.
Random tangents.
And we're here with I was gonna say my old show. Hold on, Kings and Queens of Porn, not Lip Gloss and Mike. So I just got done doing the other show, so I was like tongue twisted for a minute. But I got Alexa with me. She's back this week. Yay!
Hey, everybody! I missed you all.
And we have a special guest tonight. We have Randall Rush.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
So yeah, he's a little bit nervous, but you know, me and Alexis will break him in.
Yeah, don't worry, we'll pop your cherry. This is going to be as quick and easy as anal.
I remember the first time that happened. Oh, God.
Damn.
Okay, so Randall, tell us a little bit. How'd you start this? How'd you get involved in porn?
Oh, well, I used to work at a store years and years ago, and I always had like that itching feel to do it. Like, I know I should probably do this. I should do this. Anyway, I just went off and just did my thing and continued working and just being a good citizen. And then when I moved to Las Vegas really opened up a lot of doors. And, yeah, I mean, big time. So I came there, and then I just decided, I've only had social media for 8 months.
Really?
I got on 8 months ago, and Love's Models had approached me, and they asked me, do you want us to represent you? And I said, yeah, like how? What do you want me to do? And they said, do you want to perform in films? And I was kind of taken away, like, hold up, is this guy like asking me to be a porn star? And so, yeah, so we just kept in contact, and I work in Louisiana, so I'm gone a lot, and so I was keeping in touch with them that way. And as things were going, oh wow, I'm going to be what? So they asked me to actually attend my first festival, and that was the Adult Film Festival at Treasures in January on the 11th. And my mug was on the flyer. It was on the banner outside, and I'm like, holy shit! Like, this is different. This is really happening now. And so yeah, I mean, that's just kind of how it happened. I just decided to get on social media, posted a few pictures, because I've applied for various agencies throughout the years, just to kind of flirt around with it and see what happens, but nobody would ever get back to me. So
wow.
Then, I get on the magical Twitter, and it's like, wow, how you doing? We want to take you in. I'm like, okay, let's do this.
Wow, that's kind of crazy. That's a wild story, like how it just, usually, like it just, I don't know, Alexa, what do you think? It just kind of like pops, you know what I mean? Like everybody just like gets into it for some crazy reason. But you were trying to get into it.
Yeah. And the thing is for sometimes too with male porn stars, it's not as, for some it's easy and for some it's not. Like some they take a long time to build up and to get that trust and to get people to actually take them seriously, because as we know, Kelly, and as we hear in the Randall, I'm sure you get these messages and stuff all the time. I mean, your inbox blows up all the time with guys going, hey man, can you get me into porn? Can you get me into porn? I got this really big dick. Can you get me into porn? So everybody's trying to get into porn, but you have to be very particular and selective on who you're kind of bringing in, because that's your brand and your reputation, especially these agencies, right? So, they want to make sure that you're for real and that you can actually perform. And there's a lot of, like, as Kelly and I have learned, and, I've experienced, there's a lot of pressure on you guys. It's not an easy task by any means. We girls, we can fake that. You guys can't.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, I mean, I've known people that were associated with the industry and stuff like that. One of my friends I went to school with, he ended up, and I think he's still there working for Digital Playground. He's always an editor, because I did a lot of skating. I was born and raised in California. And so when we would skate, we would make, our little skate edits, and he would always put stuff together for us. So he was really good with the camera work and all that. Well, he eventually, like I said, went to Digital Playground, and he's been working there for a long, long time. And I would always ask him, hey man, try to get me in. And he probably, I don't know exactly how he took it. I don't know, some of my friends, I don't want him to make me look bad, just in case, because it's not as easy as everyone makes it out to be. It's a job. It really is a job. I mean, when you go out to, you go, okay, we've got to meet here at this time, and, somebody shows up late, or there's always something. You just never know. It could be really smooth, or it could be, oh gosh, okay, we're sitting here this much longer. But I don't know. There's so many factors. So I mean, just like in any other job, I mean, it's got all of its different aspects of really the kind of things that can happen.
Right. I told Alexa that I felt like it's kind of like music. It's an artist trying to brand themselves and
Yes.
in the indie world, and looking at the way you guys have to promote yourselves and build your fan base, and it's really a lot like the artists, except I do that kind of work for them. But I mean, a lot of artists just don't have the time to play around with that, and it's kind of crazy how you build yourself. And I interviewed a girl last week, I forget her name, but she gets that. She said the same thing, like but actually she started a whole different way. She was doing what do you call it, like escorting, and then that's how she ended up. Yeah, she still does the escort part. So it was kind of crazy, like how that all started. But so what do you say?
For some girls, they get into escorting first, and then they get into porn, and other girls get into porn first, and then start escorting because that's requested, right? So some girls that are used to, having sex, it's a totally different thing too, when they're having sex in private and having sex on camera.
Oh, absolutely.
Are very, very different. But, I mean, I know a lot of the girls who never escorted before got into porn, and their fans and stuff want to meet them, so they're like, okay, well, they can make good money just doing the escorting side of things, so they're like, well, why the hell not? Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. So, it works. It goes kind of hand in hand for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a relative, it's like a close cousin of porn, but it's not exactly, I mean, it's the same field, but it's really entirely different. I've never done any escorting myself, but I can imagine, because I've been around, women that have, and it's a very stressful situation sometimes, and, I'd never really been around it, but when I was, it was always kind of nervous. I would always feel kind of nervous, like, are you ready to go? Can I pick you up? And just whatever, just make sure they were safe, because it was always one of those kind of issues. And that's not always the case. I just thought I overthink a lot of things to make sure that everything is fine. But, definitely the two are related, entirely different in a sense, too.
Yeah, that would totally, that's what I asked at my question. I'm like, do you feel safe? Because you hear all these crazy stories, and I'm like, don't you want somebody, And she was like, no, I'm pretty good. There was 1 or 2 times that I got scared, but, she brings stuff with her, and I'm like, okay, she's like, yep. She's like, I guess she ended up getting mace, and that's what she carries now in case, anything goes crazy.
Yeah.
So.
Well, again, when it comes to, escorting and there's risk to doing both, but, the girls that I know that are in the industry that escort, usually it's their fans. So they have an admiration already and a respect level with these people to a degree already. Then there's also, you have to, it's easier for girls that are in the industry to do because they say, we require references. And I know many girls that are like, if you can't provide me a reference, then it's a no-go. Or there's screening processes and things such as that they have to go through. And the guys know that. The ones that music girls or hire the girls, they understand the process, and they understand that there's what's involved in it, and there's never a question on it. If there's ever a question, it's usually because they're a little sketchy. But there's usually ways of protecting themselves in doing that. Deposits are required, references are required. There's things that you've got to do. But, if you're just a girl, my thing is I do, worry about the girls that are just flat out escorting because you have no screening. There is nobody that you can call up and say, hey, did you hire, or did so-and-so hire you before? What do you like? Did he pay you? Did he hurt you? Did he do that? The other thing. There's nobody to do that with, and unfortunately the government has taken away a lot of the avenues that used to be used for sex workers to communicate, which is really scary, So at least with the girls that I know in the industry, everybody's got each other's back. Right? You call up any girl and go, hey, so-and-so dropped your name. Do you know this person, and are they safe for me to meet? And they're like, yeah, absolutely, or no, they're not. Simple, right?
Yeah. It's a very tight community. I'm learning this, and that's a good thing because we have to look out for the safety of others. We're going to have the people that are going to be obsessed, and you're going to have the people that are just that are going to be that kind of person towards you, trying to hurt you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's spacing out here. Where'd he go?
Oh,
there you are.
My hair. And sometimes it's the just the messages you get that kind of I've had a couple. Well, why don't you get a regular job? And I'm just and I'm just like, are you kidding me? I was like, I actually do have a regular job. I work on an oil rig, and I've been doing this. I've been working on the oil rigs for 10 years. It's I do have a real job. Yeah, so it's not like this is something that I'm throwing all my eggs in one basket to try to make happen. This is nice. The exposure is really cool, but it's definitely not something that this is all I do. And when people ask me that, well, don't you do anything else? I'm like, yeah, I do plenty of other things, So, I don't know. There can be moments when you just feel a little disgruntled. Like, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and just sign out for a little bit. I'll talk to you some other time or whatever.
So
you know what I do with those ones? It's a really great button. It's called block. Block their asses. Right? Bye-bye now. I'm done talking to you. I'm no longer listening to your shit. You gotta stop. Just, no. Do you support me? Do you buy my clips? Do you buy my things? Do you sign up for my site? Do you pay for Sketches? Do you pay for anything? No. Okay, bye-bye now, block.
Right.
When I first started in the industry, I was so, I don't know, maybe it's Canadian in me, but I was so sweet and polite to everybody. I tried to, give everyone the benefit of the doubt. I was like, just a hard-ass bitch. I'm like, block, block. I'm so sick of you. I don't know how many times I had to tell you, I don't chat for free, so the next 15 messages you're going to, bye-bye, block.
And it's sad. It's so sad because I'm not even in y'all's industry, and I do that now. Even with the music, when I first started, I was like you, Alexa. I talked to everybody that was in my inbox, and then if they started crossing the line, I'd delete them. You know what I mean? But it was now I just don't have time to hit them all. I just don't. If you're not trying to work with me and spend money with me, you got to get out of my inbox. I just don't have time.
That's crazy too, because as I'm looking at my actual text messages in my phone, I'm really adamant about cleaning up all my messages. I can't stand just a bug, because if I'm looking for something specific, I can't find it because I got to scroll through so much. And then if somebody's like, well, that message was on, okay, so I've got Instagram, I got to look through that. I got to look through WhatsApp, I got to look through Twitter, I got to look through my actual text. It's just, there's so many forms of communication. But, you know, now I look in my phone and all of the actual text messages are only telling. And I'm just like, okay, well, maybe I'm just like subconsciously doing this to know that if I'm just talking, because I mean, really in my regular life, I mean, average, I talk to like 3 people in my life. Like, I really don't have a bunch of people.
That's
that I
like me. I'm very,
I don't surround myself with a lot of people. And, you know, so like I'm looking through my messages and I'm like, oh, wow, this was like, you know, it's just documentation of a shoot that we were going to do, or, you know, we're just talking about, you know, business oriented stuff. And yeah, my phone definitely went from a virgin phone to it's all just exposed now. It just seems it's
just a whore. Your phone's a whore now, let's just be honest.
It seems so much just in the last 6 months. It's like, I swear, I think it's growing different characteristics.
Yeah, I think as you level up, you know, it's just like you just realize, like, I ain't got time for this shit no more. You know what I mean? It's like, and I feel bad sometimes, but in another sense I don't, because for years I was the nice, sweet, you know what I mean? Like, they used to call me the Salvation Kelly because I was trying to help people. You know, it's like, now, fuck you, I don't want to help you. You know what I mean? Like, if you ain't paying me to help you, I ain't doing it, you know? But it's crazy. So, do you get any weird requests? Alexa knows I ask this question every week. What is the weirdest, like, request, I guess, that you've ever gotten?
You know, I really haven't had anything like that. I don't know if I'm going to say it hasn't happened. I get off the phone and it's going to happen. You know, no, nothing like that's really happened. I actually get a lot of men messaging me and asking for like private time and can we FaceTime and stuff like that. I'll pay you so much, and I'm just like, I don't know. I'm not really understanding that side of stuff yet. I'm still trying to figure stuff out, because as of right now, I'm still trying to build a website, and I just edited some new stuff, which was oh gosh, it was phenomenal. It looked really great. So, I mean, I don't know, when it comes to trying to get requests and respond to them, sometimes I just look at the message and I feel like a dick, because I know they can see I looked at it and I just like ignored it. And it's not like but it's not like I'm being like rude about it. I just really don't know how to respond to stuff. But as far as anything weird, nah, there's never been anything. I guess I'll give you both a message as soon as it does happen.
Yeah, because like, what the hell?
Somebody's going to ask him to blow up balloons with his dick or something and start popping them. We all know people got this freaking balloon fetish that we found of all these balloon fetishes and they giant gummy bears that these people want to just be eating. Like, there's, Randall, trust me, honey, it's going to come to you. There's going to be some random crazy shit that's going to come your way, and somebody's going to ask for some really crazy stuff. And, you know, for me, I mean, I don't get the really crazy stuff either. Like, that's just me. But then, I mean, people look at my stuff and they go, you know, I don't know, I have a different look and brand about me, so they don't ask me for too many crazy things.
Oh, what did somebody tell me last week about you, Alexa? Oh, they're like, oh my God, Alexa, she's so sweet. It's so hard to believe she's a porn star sometimes, because she just carries herself like so sweet and innocent. I said, oh, you don't know her.
Well, you know, here's the thing with me is that I'm genuine, you know, and I'm a genuine person, and I try to be sweet, but, you know, and I also carry myself with and, you know, what I keep hearing back from people in the industry is I carry myself with an elegance and a class that's, you know, sometimes different than other people. And so it's like, I'm very much like, you know, classy in the streets and the freak in the sheets kind of type person. So, but that's just the type of person I am. So, yeah. I'm good with that.
But she's a freak. She's not real sweet and innocent.
Yeah, you know, I would have to totally agree with you on that. I mean, the way that I've carried myself in my life is, I mean, I've always just been, you know, a clean cut, you know, always like very well put together and just organized, you know, timely. You know, I don't lag. I don't wait for things. You know, procrastination is definitely not a part of my life. And, you know, being around the people that I have in this industry, I mean, geez, just in January and during AVNs, I mean, I only went for a few hours within the 4 days, and it was just because it's just too much monotony. I can't deal with it, and it's not like I'm, you know, scared of the public or anything like that, but sometimes it's just a little overwhelming. and I have to just be away. Definitely, obviously I'm introverted, so it's just like, got to stay kind of like to my own grounds, and every once in a while I'll show my face, but yeah, I don't know. It's just there's just so much going on right now. Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, who am I? Like, what has happened? I was just used to okay, I got to get on a flight, and I'm going to work. I'll be gone for a few months, and now I'm trying to brand and build something, and I'm talking to so many people, and so many people have been so kind. Everybody's been very, very, very just nice. And hey, if there's any questions you have, go ahead and just give me a call whenever. And, that's nice. I'm just really in for the ride right now, and I'm enjoying everything that's going on.
Well, that's
good,
cool.
but you better get out of that introverted real quick, because I'm telling you, this industry will drag it out of you. You and I are the opposite. You're introverted. I'm an extrovert. So for me, ABN was my playground. Okay, no, I was like, whoop, whoop, let's do this. So, but the industry will. I mean, it's good that you know who you are, though, because the industry will suck you dry when it comes to a lot of things. So it's good that you know your limitations and you live within that, because you can burn out really quickly, and I've seen it now over the last couple of years, and it's unfortunate, and it's good that you know that, hey, you know what, I need to go for a few hours, I'll show my face, and then I take my time, which is great.
Yeah, patience. I've actually mastered patience. That's one of the more important things in life that I've tried to, throughout the years of working, I've been with guys here working that are, pushing almost 60 years old, and I'm like, man, like, you still don't even understand patience. Like, you learn patience. That's a good portion of what life is about. So when you're able to master that, it's, on the other turn of the coin there, it's pretty much just learning who you are, and you figure out who you are and your sexuality. And so many people, I swear, they, this whole new thing. I mean, it seems like a whole new thing, but within the last 10 years, the transgender thing is just like, it's so wide open and spread open. And these guys that are just super macho, but they're like so curious about these things. And I'm like, you know what? Just be yourself, man. Like, I need people to be more understanding. Like, that's how you're supposed to be. Not be hidden because you're worried about what society's going to think about you, or just, put yourself in a shell and just, be put away. So, I don't know. There's just tons of things that I'm learning and getting to see.
Well, and it's good that you say that too, because it's true. I mean, there's too many people out there that are so worried about what everybody else thinks of them, and they're never true to themselves. It's like, hey, if you're curious about something, that's good. We're human beings, we're sexual creatures. We should be curious about things, and we should not limit ourselves because society tells us it's not okay. Screw you, society. It's okay.
Yeah. No, seriously.
If I'm a guy and I want another guy to suck my dick because I've never had enough before, I want another guy to suck my dick because I have one life to live. I'm gonna do this, right? So, the thing is why be sitting in the rocking chair in your front porch going, that time I was at the party and there was a really good looking guy. I really wish I made him suck my dick. Like, why have those regrets? Nobody wants those regrets. Let it happen.
Oh my gosh.
No.
Yeah, because I don't want to be in my final years and saying, oh, I wish I would have. This was probably one of the bucket list things that I didn't think was going to happen. And I guess it was just because everybody's kind of cliquey, in a sense, like to get into my job that I've got, you kind of have to know somebody. This industry's, I guess, kind of the same in a sense. Mm-hmm. But once you get in there, you just learn the different personalities, and what's going to make and what makes the best of what somebody's career can be is really just their personality, because who they are is, eventually the fake stuff will shine through. So if they're like really a true blue person, and like they just get along with everybody, and they're just a very kind person in general, boom, there you go. That's half the battle. That's more than half the battle.
Right.
I agree. Now, that being said, those same people will have haters on them tenfold.
Oh.
Trying to find any sort of thing to tear that person down because they're so threatened by a genuine person. And it's unfortunate. I've learned this a very, very valued lesson, in the last year, in this industry, because I'm like you. I'm a genuine person.
Yes.
What you see is what you get. I'm not fake. I'm not fake on camera. I'm not fake in person.
Right.
But there's going to be people out there that are going to do whatever they can to started to tarnish that reputation, and it's really, really sad. And it's just, you have to kind of, it's taken sometimes, it takes you back, right? Because you kind of think, well, what did I ever do? And I want everyone to like me, and, I try so hard to be kind to everybody, and, I'm just a real person, and why are they just being like this? And at the end of the day, you have to take a big step back and realize that they don't hate you, they hate themselves. And it's not about you, it's about them. And it's a really hard lesson to learn, and it's something that we have to remind ourselves. But, it's good that you got a good head on your shoulders and you know who you are, and
definitely.
That's half the battle.
It was brought to my attention the word clout, or the term clout chasing. And I was like, somebody had sent it in a message. And I go to look it up, and I'm like, wow, that's crazy. That's almost like somebody trying to do better for themselves, and they're trying to build off of you and hate on you to try to build themselves up. And I was like, gosh, this is such a crazy world. I mean, step on you on the way up and step on you on the way down, like what's wrong? Like, whatever happened with just courteous and kind people, it's just
exist.
Like,
It really don't exist like it used to. Speaking of, like, accepting it, and like Alexa said that, people, it's really like a problem with themselves that they're trying to push. I don't know if y'all read, but I started reading this book called The 4 Agreements, and it's like, I guess it's known like everywhere. Like, I seen it on Instagram, that's how I picked it up, and I guess the author was on Ellen, he was on Oprah, he was on so many talk shows, and it's a really good 4 agreement system, and it's basically, it explains that right there, like, don't make assumptions, and don't take things personal, because the people that are throwing daggers at you or trying to bring you down or whatever, it's really, like she said, it's true, it's stuff inside of them mentally that they're not happy with, so they're going to push it on you. And they're trying to bring down the next person instead of, because they don't know how to be happy with themselves, because they're hiding, all these things that they either want to do or, they just want to, And as far as the transgender thing, I think that's a big thing right now, too. Like you said, the last 10 years, I find the last couple of years, never mind the last 10 years, just being so public about it, like on television, and I think the rest of the world needs to catch up or something, because I fear that our kids are the ones that are going to suffer for all of this, because they're going to be so confused.
Yeah.
No,
you're right.
You look
because
at...
go ahead, I'm sorry.
I mean, you just look at, like, I don't know if y'all watch the Grammys or the award shows or whatever, but, there's just so many things, and then you got people that knock it down, and then you got people that are for it, and the kids are just sitting there like, what? Which way should they go,
Yeah, it's a confusing world. I mean, everything is so televised now today. One of my favorite quotes of ever, it's like, the world hasn't become a crazier place, it's just more televised, and it truly is that way. The world's always been a very, very crazy place, but now it's at your fingertips, I mean, you see these kids that don't even know how to read, but they know how to navigate through a tablet,
Right.
It's just the craziest thing, and so, I mean, the dependency of that has become more of a dependency than, really doing anything outside in the world. Like earlier today, I was getting ready to go see one of my buddies, and I went to go by his house. I went to go just talk with him for a second. He's leaving out of town for the weekend, and I felt like putting my skates on and just being in the world, And then it's like nobody does it anymore. I mean, I'm an older guy, So but the younger generations, there's no drive for that. They're like, nah, I'm cool. Like, I'm just gonna smoke a blunt and just like lay here. Like, oh my gosh, like that's crazy. Get out in the world and go do something. Like, be productive in any way. Yeah, experience life.
Yeah, use some fresh air. Like, get outside and do something. I was talking about that today, too. I read an article about these parents giving their kids melatonin to put them to sleep. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, if that ain't the laziest ass parents I've ever met. First of all, like, these kids are like 5 years old, full of energy.
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And you're giving them melatonin just because you want them in bed on time. Like, hello, if you didn't let them sit in front of the television, or what about, like, letting them go outside after school, or, giving them a bath, calming them down, read them a book, you know what I mean? Like, the things that you're supposed to do as a parent, rather than try to make them go to sleep early because, they're not going to sleep. I remember my kids, when they were little, Lord, they'd be in their room, they might not, wind down real quick, but you know what? They were still laying there resting. I would hear the boys always talking. Sometimes I would catch them take the racetrack out from under the bed. You know what I mean? But I mean, it's a kid's world. You know what I mean? They're little. I don't give them stuff to knock them out. But I guess the whole article was because never mind the melatonin, they were giving them some new thing. I haven't even seen it. It's called NyQuil Z or something. I guess they've been giving that to kids. Wow. So they switched it from that to the melatonin. I'm like, what is wrong with these parents? Like you said, this world is so crazy, but yet, it's true. It's television. If you keep your kids away from media, I'm not saying that they'll never be exposed to it. You want them to, but let you be the one to explain it to them, not the television and what they think. You know what I mean? And being brainwashed. But it's just whacked out there. Like I don't get it. I really don't.
Well, I mean, it really just comes down to, it's the war on drugs and stuff like that. I mean, we can call that whatever we want, but it's such a sedated world. Like nobody thinks clearly anymore, and everybody's on something. Yep. And whether it's a prescription or whether we just have whatever little addictions, like it's crazy. I was a big drinker for a number of years, so I understand. And when I was constantly drinking, I'd always wake up and, oh gosh, who do I have to apologize to today? What did I break? What did I break? What did I? I would turn into a completely different person. And just like the last few years, I've really just, I'll sit down and have like maybe a glass of wine, a glass of Merlot, and that does me in fine. I'm good with that. And it just kind of eases my mind, but I'm so much like on that path of thinking, and things are so focused right now. And this has just been, like within the last couple of years, just nonstop and steady, and life is so much better. It's so much more calm. Not that I've really had like an erratic lifestyle of, so much going on. I've never been drama because I stick to myself. I've always been by myself. When I go to work, I'm at sea for sometimes months at a time. So, I'm away from society and isolated. So I'm used to being away like that. It's not a big deal. But, everybody is just, they have some sort of an addiction, and, it highly affects you. I was actually looking at a post earlier, and it was, like Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, like whatever their routine is, and they all they'll wake up at like very early hours and they go to bed at 8, 9 o'clock night every night. And I've been doing that if I look at it for the longest time, and I think that's what's kept me in the repetition of being structured. And that's another thing that's missing in society is the structure. People don't have the structure, and it's gone. The fabrics of that have just been destroyed because nobody is on time, nobody is organized, nobody has good communication. Though they have this phone stuck in their hand, and they're on 4 different platforms, but they can't get back to you when they're asking you, hey, what time are you going to be home? It's just simple shit like that. So, there's been times when instead of messaging the person through a text message, I message them, on the social media, and they get back to me right away. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on? It's just too much.
Yeah, but yet they couldn't answer your text. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I go through that too. Everybody's like, well, just instant message. They're always on Facebook. And I'm like, wow. Like, wow. And I've had to cut back because honestly, I used to be one of those people the last couple of years. I think last year is when I kind of calmed down. I used to go on, like, get up at 7 in the morning. I'd be on the internet from like maybe 9 all the way till midnight.
Wow.
Want to talk about, and that's just doing promotional work, you know what I mean, and things like that. And I was like, you know what? And I did that for a good 6 years. Last year, I said, you know what? Something's got to change because my kids would get mad. I had no life. Like, people would be visiting me, and I was on the computer. You know what I mean? So it was just like, I had to look back at it and say, I got to change this somewhat. I've got to get a life here because this is just, so now it's like, I'll put so many hours in a day, but I refuse to be on it all day and all night. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
that's
like,
good. Yeah, give yourself limitations.
Yeah, I can't do it. It's just, the people that I work with, they're not mad. The work gets done. It's just, I'm not doing all that free stuff anymore either. You know what I mean? So it doesn't tie me up as much. But I totally agree. People don't. I just started recently getting up like at 6 in the morning and trying to be in bed like 9, 10. And I laughed at my kids and I said, I'm getting old. I said, because it's crazy me going to bed this early. You know what I mean? It's like, whoa. But like you said, I feel that I can focus more.
Oh, yeah,
And,
for sure.
you know, you got to get those hours of sleeping, and people think, nah, you're not until I'm dead, you know. Okay, yeah, but, you know, that's going to kill you in the end if you're not getting the rest that you need, because it does affect you. Alexa, did you fall asleep on us?
I know, right?
No, baby, I'm just listening to y'all. I'm just listening. I'm here, baby. I'm here.
And just like you said, you know how people say, well, I'll sleep when I'm dead. Well, you know, the thing is that, you know, when they're not focusing like that, you can see the difference between, I mean, I can see the difference just in myself compared to a lot of people, and I'm not trying to make a huge comparison, but, I mean, it's just, I don't know, it's out of control. It's, I'll come up with something good in a second. I was just thinking about it, but it slipped my mind.
That's okay.
well, now that you have something slipped in your mind, what do you have coming up? Anything we should be looking forward to, excited to see? What are your plans in the adult industry in the next, you know, foreseeable future?
Well, right now I'm working with a few people. I want to keep them disclosed for the moment, but I got some really good projects. Yeah, I got some good projects going on. I just did three scenes in 2 days, just this last weekend. It was really, really good. I got everything on the hard drive. I just got one of the videos edited. It came out fabulous. It looks like a like a soap opera. It's filmed so beautifully. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. I'm in the works of getting a website up and running, and so I'm trying to figure out what I want my domain name to be. I'm eventually going to get on, you know, like everything else, OnlyFans and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm going to stick to this. I'm going to put my guns in here and go ahead and just, you know, go full force with this. I'm still going to continue doing my job in Louisiana, you know, but I'll be back and forth. I'm going to stay definitely connected. But this has been the first time in a long time. I've lived in Las Vegas 3 years. This is the first time, I think really since I've lived here, that I've been here this long. I'm usually only here for maybe a week, sometimes 2 weeks at the most. And so my time is not really, you know, not really enjoyed while I'm here, but I've been really just, you know, and this is the crazy part about the social media. I've been finding myself on my phone like crazy, you know, I try to put it down and then there's like something else and, hey, you want to shoot and this and that. I'm like, oh, yeah, this is great. And I'm definitely always going to want to pick up work, but it's something I'm not used to. It's extremely foreign to me. So having my phone next to me all the time is kind of different. I usually only have my phone on me regularly just to listen to music because I'm like a crazy music junkie. Like I love listening to music all the time. So now changing it from having the music playing, but okay, let me answer this real quick, or let me post this real quick, and you know, just trying to stay relevant because I can see how quick it goes. You can't just post, you know, one picture or a video in a month and then not something for the longest time, you know. So I try to be up there and try to keep things fresh. But yeah, I mean that's kind of what's happening. But I mean, I'm just gonna, you know, I'm wrapping my head around this very, very quickly. I mean, just like any other job or any other industry that you work in. I mean, you have to learn hands-on. You know, you can't learn how to do something by looking at it. So being around it, being affiliated with it, that's happening. But I will be going to the Tees in Los Angeles. So I'm going to be heading out there on the 15th of March. So that's the most recent stuff. Yeah.
Now, what is that?
That's exciting.
That is the Trans Awards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know they had
that'd be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
So they have trans porn too?
What's that?
They have trans porn too?
Porn? Yeah, of course they do.
I guess I've never looked it up. I don't know. I've never looked it up.
Well, you know, Bree Mills, Kelly, you need to look up Bree Mills because she's a fucking genius. But Bree Mills has an Adult Time has a new series called Transfixed, and it's all the most beautiful trans girls you can imagine. And usually they pair them up with you know, very well known mainstream actresses and stuff, and they do a gorgeous scenes. Their cinematography, their editing, their style of work is by far like the best in the industry.
Wonderful.
She is insanely amazing. You know, they have under Adult Time, under the umbrella of Adult Time, they have Transfixed, they have Girls Way, they have Shape of Beauty, which I was so honored to shoot for in
nice.
November. My scene just came out with them in January, just before AVN. They have, I'm trying to think of the other ones that they have, Pure Taboo. So there's a bunch of them under the umbrella, and they're all basically done by the director, Brie Mills, and she is, like I said, she is just a genius, an absolute genius, and she's got an incredible team that she works with both in Montreal, Canada, here, and in LA. Just phenomenal people, great people to work for and work with, very, very talented, top of the, like, top in the industry for sure.
Yes.
But like her series Transfix is just like, you look at it and you just go, wow, but it's out of the box stuff, and that's what I love about them, is that they're not afraid to grab hold of what is a niche market or a taboo market and just make it look killer, and people are just fixated with it, which is...
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, that's what it needs to be. I mean, you listen to the radio now, and every artist sounds pretty much the freaking same. I mean,
yes.
I can't even tell the difference between who's on there now. I mean, when it comes to top 40 music, I've always pretty much stayed away from that stuff since like the early 2000s. 98 was probably the last decent year for, all that kind of like mainstream stuff. But, yeah, I mean, when it comes to porn and stuff like that, I mean, there's not really anything that's provocatively changing the system or changing the scene. See, like, I'm talking all this trans stuff, but I'm a straight man, I definitely want to go ahead and be a cross performer. I think that would be something that I know a lot of people are scared to take the risk and try. And it's because when I shoot with a trans girl, the females, they don't want to shoot because you've done that. And ultimately, I know that's going to change, but even when that person that says no to it, there's always going to be someone else that says, yeah, sure, why not? Let's do this. Yeah. More open-minded in the industry.
And and I was going to ask you that because I know, like, Christian Triple X, has his BBW site, and he also shoots with his a lot of trans girls and stuff. And there's a lot of girls in the industry that refuse to shoot with him. But in fact, actually, when I shot for Shape of Beauty, one of the first questions they asked me is, "Are you willing to shoot with a crossover?" Because a lot of girls are absolutely like 100% against shooting with that. And my answer was like, hell to the I am. Like, I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. But a lot of girls, a lot of people in the industry, and I can't fault them for it. I mean, everyone's got their own sticks. I mean, everyone's got their own thing. But I mean, for me, I'm like, hey, sex is sex. I mean, what's the difference between having, anal sex with the mainstream girl or having anal sex with the trans girl or having anal sex with another guy? Like, anal sex is anal sex. If we're all tested, if we're all protecting ourselves, if we're all, on the same level, it is what it is. It makes no difference. But for some, it really does make a huge difference. And, yeah, I just was, kind of curious with you. Have you heard or have you gotten any, because I know even Thor has, done a couple of crossover kind of things, and there's people that are like, I want to shoot with you now because you've done that.
Yeah,
Have you experienced that yet?
I did one little occasion, and it wasn't a real big deal. We actually still filmed some amateur stuff in my car, and it was just very much like, oh my gosh, we're going to be caught. It was really fun. It was a fun thing to do with her, but she was kind of hesitant at first. And she's been okay with it. I think she's very young, so she's not really sure if that's going to probably put a ding in her career, because I know sometimes that's what they think about. See, in my perspective, and you were saying, be true to yourself, I would not be being true to myself if I said, you know what, I don't do that. I'm going to just be myself, because the day that I try to be somebody else that I'm not, because somebody says, if you do that, you know what, guess what? You're my record company now, and I don't write my own songs, and what I'm writing is what you want, not what I do. You know what I mean? I'm not original anymore. So that's, I mean, I'm not going to be mad if someone doesn't want to shoot with me because of that reason, but, that's just a whole different partake, and I think I'm early enough to be doing this. When it comes to the point, it's going to be very acceptable. I'm saying within the next 3 or 4 years.
But I agree.
But right now it's like, wow, like, who's doing that? So like when Christian was doing that, I looked at that as very pioneer, because nobody was doing that, and not that I was not that I was trying to be in the shadow of like, I want to do that. That's truly the life that I already was living. So why change just because there's a camera there and a crew? And, no, I'm going to, yeah, sure, let's do this. That sounds fun. Like you said, sex is sex. And, it just works out.
In this industry, the people are weird. Like, there's some guys where it's really funny. They will shoot, they'll shoot with BBW girls, but they will never, you will look at their social media, they will never post, ever, them ever shooting with a BBW girl, ever. They'll only post them shooting with mainstream girls because they don't want to be, another guy that, I fat chicks, right? Like, they don't want to be associated with that. But they're like, well, the paycheck, so, whatever. But yeah, those are the guys that are blowing up your phone after the scene's over going, that was so fun, can we just do it again off camera? But they will never admit that on their social media because they just feel that mainstream is not going to look at them the same if they're sleeping with BBW girls. So, it's the same, same with trans girls. Like, they'll be like, okay, well, I'll film it. Hopefully my other fans in my mainstream will never see me doing it because, I wouldn't want that to tarnish my reputation that I sleep with trans girls. Like, it's just like, you guys, just, everybody's going to be sleeping with everybody anyway. Just like it. Just like it, It's just one of those things. But it is. I mean, people are afraid of what their reputation can.
Yeah, they're afraid of judgment, and I can tell you right now on this radio show that I'm not that fucking guy. I can give two shits about what somebody thinks about me. No, I don't care. I'm always going to be that way. I've lived like that. There's no reason for me to change just because I'm Randall Rush. No, you know what? I'm going to be the same guy no matter what. I'm cool, calm, and collective, and it's always going to be that way. There's no debates, no debacles, and nothing. It's just, hey, you like that? Okay. If not, then okay, no go.
Step up next.
That's it. And I had just tweeted something. I think it was just yesterday, and it was essentially just saying, there are plenty of women in the industry. I said, I only want to work, and I'm just like asking out to the nice girls. I said, I only want to work with the ones that are professional, timely, just all that kind of good stuff, and are nice people, genuinely. I said, there's plenty of girls in the industry, but I only want to work with the ones that are fun to be working with. There's so many arrogant personalities, and that doesn't fly with me. Like, I know it's crazy. I mean, a lot of people say, man, you got this look, this and that, but I've never been like that. I'm not a cocky guy. I'm happy with like a few tacos and like some good music. It's not a big deal. It's not like, okay, well, I got to get this new. Like, no. I mean, I literally own everything that I could ever want. There's like a few things, like maybe a suit of armor that I think would be cool to have, or some little dumb shit. But I mean, I could have easily bought that forever ago. But I'm not like a materialistic person. Never have been, and I so will never be like that. And that's a huge downfall. The materialism trap too. That's like a whole different. That's a whole different venture. I mean, you get caught in the materialism trap, and I mean, we all like to have nice things. I own some very nice things, but it doesn't define who I am. You know what I mean? And
exactly.
when people buy things to define who they are, then you're just a product. You're just as inanimate as that object is.
I agree.
Me too.
I agree. See, it's so refreshing to talk to somebody that actually has a head on their shoulders. I mean, damn, I can't wait to meet you. You and I need to have some cocktails when I'm back in Vegas again next.
For sure, baby.
For sure. Maybe get behind a camera, I don't know, or in front of one. That could be fun, too.
There you go.
That could be fun, too. That could be fun. So how long are you going to be down in Vegas for? Are you there for a little while, or are you heading back out to work soon?
No, I've got like I said, I got a couple things going on right now, so I'm kind of just waiting on the word to see what happens. I think there may be some paper signing. I'm not really sure yet. I'm kind of hoping that it's kind of towards that direction. We'll just see. I'm not making any promises, but I kind of think that's what's happening.
That's exciting.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like at this point, I'm really just I'm just trying to just stay relevant on the feeds and all that kind of stuff. Plus, work is really slow right now. Usually, the winter months are quite slow. It should be picking up soon, but I mean, they'll understand. I don't work on a schedule. I work pretty much on call. That's why I'll say, hey, I'm going out there for 1 month. I'm in Louisiana for 6 months. So at this point, I'm trying to build something else. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and just like tough it out here, and I'll probably just stay here until around my birthday time, which is in June. So I'll probably just stay here for quite a while.
Nice. All right. Well, I'll definitely hit up your social media before I get down there, because I'll think I'm down there in April.
Okay, great.
April and in May, actually. I've already booked my trip for May, but April's a kind of a spontaneous shoot trip because, you got to keep shooting.
Yeah, that's it.
Right? You got to keep doing it. Doing it.
We need you to give everybody your social links because we got like 5 minutes left. So I want to make sure you get your social links out there where everybody can follow you, see some of your clips, all that good stuff.
Okay, yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Randall, R-A-N-D-A, 2 L's, _Rush, XXX, and on the Instagram at official _ Randall Rush XXO.
Nice.
You got that?
Yeah. Just make sure to be careful on your Instagram, I'm just saying.
Oh, no, I know. Everybody's like, they took down my Instagram again. I'll tell you what, though, because I told you I'm so, I was not anti-social media, but I didn't have it for the last 15 years while everybody else was growing up on it. I was, turning wrenches and, burning shit and, cutting metals and just, being like a man, in the world. And then I come to this social media stuff, and then everybody's just having these gripes about Instagram, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what's happening? And they're like, my butt cheek was hanging out too much, and now it's gone. And then I see the repost. It's like I was deleted at 15,000 followers now. I'm like, gosh, this sounds pretty devastating. So now I try to stay away from it, and it just kind of, I'll just maybe just post maybe skating or something.
Well, that's the thing, and here's the thing, is that if you don't post anything that is ridiculously vanilla, they will shut your ass down. I was shut down at 84,000 followers.
Oh my God.
The guy who reported me actually screenshotted the picture of it where it said that they officially deleted my account. He posted that post on Twitter, bragging that he got my Instagram account shut down.
Wow.
They purposely go out and target you, and it's and I didn't even have stuff really on there that was very bad. My stuff is pretty G-rated on there now. Now I privatize that shit. You got to ask my permission in order to follow. I turn down hundreds of people a day. And so far, I think I've been up since January about 1,700 followers or something, because I delete so many of them. I was like, no, there's no way. And now my stuff is very, very vanilla on there. But you have to have social media, and that's the double-edged sword of it. If you don't, then you're irrelevant. And if you do, you have to have so many followers. And if you have too many followers, you have that many haters, and they're going to try to shut you down. It is just... It's infuriating, but when you try to build your social media up to 84,000 or 100,000 or however many, and it goes, it's it crushes you because
I can imagine.
It's have to build that back up again, right? So it's devastating to your pocketbook, because that's your way of advertising who you are and getting your name out there.
And it's sad too. Facebook does it too.
Yes.
So today's lesson, boys and girls, was that the real predators are the ones that are out there just trying to diffuse you and just make you look bad and go ahead.
Yes.
They did get out of here. I did this, and then they got the audacity to go on there and say, oh, look what I did. You're such an asshole.
I know, but the one thing that made me feel a little bit better was that I took the picture of his post that he was bragging about and put that on my social media, and then a bunch of my fans reported him and everything else for this. His whole Twitter was full of slander and hatred and horrible stuff, and so they got his ass shut down. But then again, the douchebag is just going to open up another one and chase after again. Anyways, people have nothing better to do, but we're just going to keep striving. We're just going to keep doing our thing.
This is kind of the same thing. But I was watching a little bit of clips and pieces of what is it? European Gigolo. What is it? What is the one? You seen the movie?
Oh yeah.
And it's like the male union for sex and stuff. And there's the killer the killers nowadays are the ones online that are just sabotaging your career. You're trying to do the best, and you're like, really? Everything got taken away because of one stupid post somebody just lied about or made something up. Crazy.
Right.
Yep.
It is.
That's exactly it. Welcome to social media.
Well, I want to thank you for doing the show tonight. We got like a minute left, so we got to kind of, because see, if it goes over, I won't be able to put it on Spotify and iHeart, so I got to keep it at an hour. But I want to say good night and thank you for taking the show. And I look forward to like maybe us having you back like in a little bit of time, so that way we can see what you're up to.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
That'll work. And Alexa, It was good to have you back tonight. I
missed
felt
you, girl. We'll be back up next Friday.
right. I felt lonely last week doing it by myself. I was like, "Yo, where's Alexa? I miss her," So, but everybody was like, "Where's the show, kids?"
I was partying it up in Vegas last Friday. Sorry, not sorry.
Oh, and by the way, everybody, as of April, we should be on Demon Seed. I guess she's been really busy too and traveling around a lot. And she's like, I still want you guys on my station, And so that's a good be. I guess she's moving. She's leaving where she's at and she's moving somewhere else. So she's trying to get everything organized. And then she's looking at April for us to start on Demon Seed.
Perfect.
So that'll be good. We'll be aired out of 4 stations because I just had a New York station hit me up the other day and asked if I could send all our porn shows to him. So we'll be out of California, New York, Demon Seed, and then 258. So
yeah.
Cool.
Congratulations!
Right. And,
all right, guys. It was great talking to you, and we'll catch up next week.
Absolutely. Right. Good night, everybody.
All right.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you, girls. Love you.
Bye. All right, so that was Randall Rush. Make sure that you follow him.